got it.
Yeah, Facebook is tripping right now.
It's Mercy on the beat. This is Mercy on Production. It's Mercy on the beat. This is Mercy on Production. It's Mercy on the beat. This is Mercy on Production.
Shalam Yasharahla.
It's Mercy on the beat. This is Mercy on Production. It's Mercy on the beat. This is Mercy on Production. It's Mercy on the beat. This is Mercy on Production.
We're going live in 5, 4, 3.
Shalom, Israel. Yeah, come buy wine and milk without money and without price. Wherefore do ye spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfieth not?
See, you're out spending money, right, on things that are not feeding you. Is what's being said here. You know, you're spending money on things that are not pursuing of the Most High, that aren't pursuing of you know what it is that we're supposed to be doing. It's not that nourishment, that truth that you should be going after. You know, if you're chasing money, you're chasing the things of this world. You know, fast cars, fancy cars. You know, clothes, Jordans, jewelry, watches. I'm not saying that stuff's not good. I'm not saying don't do that thing, right? But you know, you got to make sure that you're pursuing of the righteous things first, right? You got to make sure that you're pursuing of these words. Make sure that you're pursuing of living righteously. Make sure you're pursuing of trying to get to the kingdom, right?
Things that are not a vanity, just vain.
Con, exactly. Read.
Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness.
So if you hearken to the Most High and you will eat, if you eat what is good, your soul will delight itself in fatness, right? If you put good things in, good things are going to come out. If you do good, good thing is going to happen to you. The Most High is going to take care of you. Read. Yeah, drop down to 7 for me.
Okay. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. And let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him.
See, the mistake that a lot of people make, right, is they get into their feelings. They get in certain situations, right? Someone has offended them. Someone is doing something that they feel is not right. And, you know, they're not, instead of judging righteously, they're judging based on how they feel about the situation. They're judging based on, you know, their emotions, right? And it's difficult to judge in righteousness when you are emotionally attached to a situation. When a situation is an emotionally triggered to you, it's difficult to judge in righteousness, right? So this is an example of that. It says, let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, right? So let the Most High deal with people, right? We are, as judges of Israel, we are supposed to judge in righteousness, right? But in order to judge in righteousness, we need to make sure that we're moving in a blameless way, right? And you can't be moving in a blameless way if you're looking at a situation and you feel a kind of way and it's clouding your judgment, right? That's not judging in righteousness. So you got to just, you know, if you're not able to look at things with logic, with reason, with biblical understanding, right? If you can't look at a situation and judge it based on these laws, then step aside and let the Most High handle that, right? It says, and let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him. Read.
And to our God, for he will abundantly pardon.
So the Most High is going to take care of, he's going to forgive and have mercy on those who repent and turn away from whatever wickedness they were doing, right? A lot of people don't allow people the space, right, to turn away from their wicked ways. They want to judge and condemn them because it whatever that emotional attachment you have, you get satisfaction from judging, right? You got to let the Most High handle situations sometimes, man, because, you know, for you know, there are many times, many cases where, you know, people aren't in the right space to judge with righteousness, right? So you got to check your spirit, you got to check yourself, and you got to, you know, if it's not something that you're able to judge in righteousness, step aside. Let the Most High handle it. You know, worry about yourself. Worry about getting yourself right, getting your spirit right. Go ahead and read.
For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways.
We don't have the capacity to understand what it is that the Most High is put in works. We don't know what he's doing. We don't know what he's thinking. We can't even begin to understand his ways. We can't even begin to understand his thoughts, right? That's what this is saying. Step aside. Put your ego aside. Put your feelings aside. Put yourself aside and let the Most High handle it, right? Read 9.
For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts.
We gotta humble ourselves, Israel, and we gotta, let the Most High handle situations, and not feel like, it's up to us to handle it in our feelings. We gotta, if we gotta make sure that we're blameless in situations, right? If you feel like you've been offended, right, and now you're upset, and now you want this person to pay for the offense that they've made, right? That might be a test onto you, right? That might be a test. That might be the Most High testing your spirit and testing you to find out where you are. Are you going to be merciful? Are you going to be charitable? Are you going to handle that situation with the fruits of the Spirit? Are you going to handle that situation, based on how you feel, based on how you think it's right? Right? We have a whole playbook to go by to handle situation. We have plenty of examples, right? But in order to do that, we gotta move in humility, right? We gotta make sure that our character is where it needs to be, and we gotta trust in the Most High. And trust that the Most High is gonna handle things the way that He sees fit. Because whether you trust or not, He is, right? So put your feelings aside and make sure that situations are handled in righteousness. Let's go to 1 Samuel 13 and start at 8.
Book of Samuel, chapter 13 and verse 8. And he tarried 7 days according to the set time that Samuel had appointed. But Samuel came not to Gilgal, and the people were scattered from him.
So this is talking about Saul, right? Saul was waiting for Samuel, and he didn't show up when Saul thought that he should show up. So go ahead and read 9.
And Saul said, Bring hither a burnt offering to me, and peace offerings. And he offered the burnt offering.
So Saul took matters into his own hand, right? He was starting to feel a kind of way because Samuel wasn't showing up when he felt like Samuel should. So he said, you know what? I'm gonna handle this the way that I feel I should, right? Read.
And it came to pass that as soon as he had made an end of offering to the burnt offering, behold, Samuel came, and Saul went out to meet him, that he might salute him.
Read.
And Samuel said, What hast thou done? And Saul said, We're scattered from me, and that thou camest not within the days appointed, and that the Philistines gathered themselves together as Mishmash.
So as soon as Saul got done sacrificing, right, here comes Samuel. And Samuel pretty much catches him in the act. And Samuel's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, what's going on? And, Saul, how, when we get caught in the act, we start to defend our actions, right? He said, people were scattered from me. And, you weren't here when you said that you were going to be here, when I thought that you should be here. And, the Philistines are starting to, get themselves together, right? So go ahead and read. Let's see what happens.
Therefore said I, the Philistines will come down now upon me to Gilgal.
So Saul was afraid, right? He was moving in fear, right? Read.
I have not made supplications unto the Lord. I forced myself, therefore, and offered a burnt offering.
So he because he was fearful, right? Because he was nervous, he was apprehensive. He saw that the Philistines were heading his way, right? And he didn't trust that Samuel was going to show up when he said he was going to show up. He got in his feelings, and he decided to take matters into his own hand, right? Let's see what happens. Read.
And Samuel said, Saul, thou hast done foolishly. Thou hast not kept the commandment of the Lord thy God, which he commanded thee. For now would the Lord have established the kingdom upon Israel forever.
Samuel let Saul know, you messed up. Right? All you had to do was listen and keep the commandments, and you would have the kingdom forever. But you blew it, right? Because you decided to do things the way that you felt they should be done, instead of doing things the way that the Most High has established, right? Read.
But now thy kingdom shall not continue. The Lord hath sought him a man after his own heart, and the Lord hath commanded him to be captain over his people, because thou hast kept that which the Lord commanded thee.
Because you didn't do what was commanded of you, because you decided to take things into your own hands, because you got in your feelings, now the Most High is going to have to put you out and bring another king to lead his people, right? He pretty much, the Most High is done with Saul, because Saul, he didn't obey the Most High. He put his feelings first, and the Most High is turning away from him. Let's go to 1 Samuel. We're going to 15 and start at 1.
1 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 1. Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord.
So make sure that you're listening to the Most High. Read.
Thus said the Lord of hosts, I remember that which I am with Amalek did to Israel. Now he laid wait for him in the way, when he came up from Egypt.
Read.
Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all they have.
Go and destroy Amalek and obliviate everything that they have, right? Read.
And spare them not.
Don't keep anything, destroy everything. Read.
But slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass.
Totally destroy everything. Skip down to verse 7.
And Saul smote Amalekites from Havilah until thou comest to Shur, that is over against Egypt.
Read.
And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword.
He did that. He did what? Read that again.
And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive.
So Samuel told Saul to go to the Amalekites and destroy everything and spare nothing. Slay both men and women, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. And what did Saul do? He took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive. Right? Read.
And utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag, and the best, the sheep and the oxen, and of the fatlings and the fatlings and the lambs, and all that was good, and would not utterly destroy them, but everything that was vile, and refused that they destroyed utterly.
So Saul and the people, they spared the king, right? They decided that they were going to spare the best of the sheep, of the oxen, of the fatlings and the lambs and everything else that they decided was good, right? They decided that what they felt was the best thing to do, right? But that's not what the Most High commanded Saul to do, right? Read verse 10.
Then came the word of the Lord unto Samuel, saying, It repenteth me that I have set up Saul to be king.
The Most High is saying that I now regret setting up Saul to be king because he doesn't listen to me. He does what he wants to do. Read.
For he is turned back from following me, and has not performed my commandments.
He's not doing what I tell him to do. Read.
And it grieved Samuel. He cried unto the Lord all night.
And Samuel was hurt. Read.
And when Samuel rose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul came to Carmel, and behold, he set him up a place, and it gone about, and passed on, and gone down to Gilgal.
Read.
And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, Blessed be thou of the Lord. I have performed the commandment of the Lord.
So here goes Saul, right? Hey, Samuel, great to see you. I did what the Most High told me to do. Read.
And Samuel said, What meaneth then this bleating of the sheep in mine ears?
So Samuel's like, what is that I'm hearing? Is that sheep? Is that oxen? Like, what is that? Read.
And the lowing of the oxen which I hear. But Saul said, They have brought them from Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the Lord thy God, and the rest we have utterly destroyed.
So Samuel, understanding what he told Saul to do, what the Most High commanded him to do, right, understands that Saul has once again disobeyed, right? He was told to destroy everything, to wipe out everything, to not spare anything. And yet Saul and the people did what they felt was right. They disobeyed the Most High because they felt like what was right was what they should do. Drop down to verse 18.
And the Lord sent thee on a journey, and said, Go and utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed. Wherefore that didst thou not obey thy voice of the Lord, but didst fly upon the spoil, and didst evil in the sight of the Lord.
So instead of doing what the Most High had commanded you to do, you decided that you were going to keep the spoil. You were going to keep the good things, right? And directly disobey the Most High. Like, why? Why are you doing this? Why? Why is it so hard to just do what the Most High asks us to do, right? Why do we allow our feelings to get in the way? Read.
And Saul said unto Samuel, Yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, and have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought Agag, the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites.
So Saul is steady trying to make an argument for himself, right? Knowing that he didn't do what the Most High commanded him to do, he's still, trying to plead his case, right? He brought the king, which he wasn't told to do, right? Read.
But the people took of the spoil, sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice the Lord thy God in Gilgal.
This is crazy, right? Because Saul is saying, look, I kept the king, sure, but it was the people, right? It was the people who decided to take all of the spoil, all of the sheep and the oxen, right? And the good things which should have been destroyed. So Saul, who is the leader of this people, is now blaming the people for doing the same thing that he did, right? They all disobeyed the Most High. I can't think of the scripture off the top of my head, but basically what their leader does, so will his followers, right? So if the leader disobeys the Most High, the followers are going to follow the leader, right? That's how it works. So yeah, Saul might not have taken the sheep and the oxen, but because he disobeyed the Most High and took the king, like the people felt like, okay, well, it's all right to do this. It's all right to, do what we feel we want to do instead of obeying the Most High. Read.
And Samuel said, hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, to hearken than the fat of rams.
So the Lord is not delighted in your burnt offerings. The Lord wants you to obey his command rather than doing what you feel is right or doing what you feel is best, right? You are to obey the Most High. There's nothing better than that. Read.
For rebellion is the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is an iniquity and idolatry, because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord. He hath also rejected thee from being king.
Rebellion is a sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry, right? So if you have a rebellious soul, if you are rebellious, that's a sin of witchcraft. And if you can't get out of your stubbornness, that's the same as idolatry, right? That's the same as worshiping other gods, because you're not obeying our Father, the Most High God, right? So because, once again, Saul disobeyed the Most High, he rejected him from being king, right? Read 24.
And Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandment of the Lord.
Yes, you have.
In thy words, because I feared the people and obeyed their voice. Now, therefore, I pray thee, pardon my sin and turn again with me, that I may worship thee, Lord.
So Saul admitted that he sinned, right? That he transgressed because he feared the people and obeyed the people's voice instead of the Most High's voice, right? So now he's begging for his sins to be pardoned, right? Read.
And Samuel said unto Saul, I will not return with thee, for thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, and the Lord hath rejected thee from being king over Israel.
If you remember, back in chapter 15, Saul was grieved that he cried unto the Lord all night because Saul disobeyed, right? So Samuel is saying here, look, I can't rock with you anymore, man. You keep disobeying the Most High. He's turned from you now, man. He's not dealing with you anymore. And because he's not dealing with you, I can't deal with you anymore, right? This is the thing that happens when we continue to disobey the Most High and continue to do what we feel is right instead of doing, thus saith the Most High. The Most High is going to turn away from you. Let's go to 2 Samuel 6 and 16, and let's see what happened with McCall.
2 Samuel 6 and 16. And as the ark of the Lord came into the city of David, Michal, Saul's daughter, looked through a window and saw King David leaping and dancing before the Lord, and she despised him in her heart.
So we're going to skip down to 20. This is, David won the battle. He's bringing the ark back, and he's celebrating. He's having a good time, right? He's dancing with the people, and praising the Lord, right? And his wife, Saul's daughter, who he gave to her to she was supposed to be a grievance unto him, right? Because she wasn't right. When she saw how David was having a good time, she was upset. She was mad. She felt like it was inappropriate, or he was doing something that she felt like he was acting in a way that he shouldn't have been, right? And so let's see what happens. Let's see what happens to her. Go ahead and read verse 20.
Then David returned, blessed his household, and Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David and said, how glorious was the king of Israel today, who uncovered himself today in the eyes of the handmaids and his servants, as one of the vain fellows shamelessly uncovereth himself.
So, you know, she was definitely in her feelings. You know, she came out and, you know, in a very sarcastic manner, said to David, you know, how glorious was the king of Israel today, you know, who uncovered himself today in the eyes of the handmaids of his servants, right? Who had basically, you know, act a fool out here, right? Who in vanity is fellowshipping shamelessly and uncovered himself, right? So she's basically telling David, like, you know, you out here acting the fool, right? Like how dare you? What's wrong with you? What's going on with you, right? Let's see what David says. Go ahead and read.
And David said unto Michal, it was before the Lord which chose me before thy father.
So David is saying, look, I was celebrating the Lord. You know, I was praising the Most High, right? Because he chose me. He picked me to be the king and to be the ruler of the people. Read.
Which chose me before thy father and before all his house, to appoint me ruler over the people of the Lord, over Israel. Therefore will I play before the Lord.
So because the Most High because the Lord chose David, right? David understood that he's letting Michal know, look, I'm the king. The Most High made me king over the people, over our people, over Israel, right? So who are you to speak on what it is that I do, right? The Most High chose me. He picked me, right? So who are you to not trust my judgment if the Most High trusts me to rule his people, right? How dare you? Like who do you think you are? Read.
And I will yet be more vile than thus, and will be base in my own sight. And of the maidservants which thou hast spoken of them shall I be had in honor.
He's saying, look, you don't have any right to judge me. Your judgment is not righteous judgment, right? You're judging from your feelings, right? I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing, right? I'm going to continue to praise the Lord like I'm praising him with these same maidservants, right? And there's nothing wrong with it. You need to get out of your feelings, right? Read.
Therefore, Michal, the daughter of Saul, had no child until the day of her death.
So the Most High judged her, right, for stepping out of her place, right, and for getting in her feelings, and for judging David, the king of Israel, unrighteously. It's a terrible thing for a woman not to be able to bear a child, especially to the king, right? To not be able to bear a child and die motherless, right? Die without the gift of being a mother, without bringing life into the world. It's a terrible thing, man. The Most High dealt with her accordingly because she got into her feelings and did not judge with righteousness, right? So, you know, we got to make sure that, you know, we examine our character and make sure that we're not acting out of our feelings, but we're judging in righteousness. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 3 and verse 18.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 3 and verse 18.
Yeah.
The greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord.
So this was David, right? David was made great over the people, right? He was made king over the people, and he humbled himself. He was truly humble, right? And the Most High was shown favor upon David, right? Let's drop down to 24.
For many are deceived by their own vain opinion.
Many are deceived by their own vain opinion, right? Many of our people judge matters based on how they feel rather than what the law says, right? And that's where they get into trouble. That's where they get into issues, right? That's what happened with McCall. You know, she got on her feelings and judged David unrighteously and was punished severely for that. I'll read.
And an evil suspicion hath overthrown their judgment.
An evil suspicion has overthrown their judgment, right? Because they're not thinking in righteousness, because they're not thinking with patience and long suffering, because they're not thinking with charity, with meekness, with humility. Their judgment is off. They lack the ability to judge with righteousness. Read.
Without eyes thou shalt want light. Profess not the knowledge, therefore, that thou hast not. A stubborn heart shall fare evil. At the last, he that loveth danger shall perish therein.
Read.
An abstinent heart shall be laden with sorrows, and the wicked man shall heap sin upon sin.
Read.
In the punishment of the proud there is no remedy, for the plant of wickedness hath taken root in him.
So if you're not moving in righteousness, right, and you're not doing your best to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, you're not pursuing the fruits of the Spirit. You're moving in your feelings. You're doing what you want to do instead of what thus said the Most High. That's wicked, and you're going to be destroyed. You're not going to get the kingdom. Let's read about how Miriam and Aaron were judged. Numbers 12:1.
The book of Numbers, chapter 12 and verse 1. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. So again, here's another example of the Most High, the leader that the Most High chose, that the Lord chose, and someone speaking against them, right? Thinking that they're speaking in righteousness, not understanding that they are speaking in their own vain opinion, right? And their own evil suspicion. And that has overthrown their ability to judge in righteousness. Read. And they said, hath the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken also by us? And the Lord heard it.
So they said, look, is the Most High only talking to you? Or is he talking to all of us? Read.
Now the man Moses was very meek above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. And the Lord spake suddenly unto Moses and unto Aaron and unto Miriam, come out ye three unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out. And the Lord came down in the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. So
I know I've been in this situation before, right? I know some of y'all have probably been in this situation too, where you think that you judging in righteousness, right? You think that you have assessed the situation and how you feel is right. You're correct. You're pointing out an offense where someone did something wrong, right? And all of a sudden, now you're being called out, right? Now you're being asked to come forth, right? And now you're kind of thinking like, well, wait a second, what's happening? I thought there was offense committed. I called out that offense, and so now why am I in trouble, right? Read.
And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him. In a vision will speak unto him. In a dream, my servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house.
So he's saying, like, look, if I'm speaking with someone, if I'm dealing with someone, that person is gonna know, right? And the person that I'm dealing with is Moses, not y'all. Read.
With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently not in dark speeches. And the similitudes of the Lord shall he behold. Wherefore, when we were yet not afraid to speak against my servant Moses,
So how do you fix yourself to feel like you can judge Moses when I'm not dealing with y'all? I'm dealing with him. That's my man. Read.
and the anger of the Lord was kindled against him, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous.
So the Most High smited Miriam with leopardness, right? He blotted out the melanin from her skin, so she was, her skin was diseased white. Read.
And Aaron said unto Moses, At last, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not thy sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned.
So so Aaron is saying, yo, we messed up. We sinned against the Most High. We were foolish in judging from our feelings instead of judging in righteousness, right? Read.
Let her not be one as one dead, of whom the fleshes have consumed when he cometh out of his mother's womb.
So now he's begging for Miriam to be cured, right? Read.
And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, Heal her now, O God, I beseech thee. And the Lord said unto Moses, If her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days?
If I punish her, right, shouldn't she have to endure that punishment? Read.
Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days, and after that, let her be received in again.
Come on, read.
And Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days, and the people journeyed not till Miriam was brought in again.
So the Most High punished Miriam for judging the situation with her feelings. Well, it's all good. So I'm going to read it again. We're at Numbers 12 and 15. And Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days, and the people journeyed not until Miriam was brought in again. So she was punished, right? Both her brothers pleaded to the Most High, but he had decided the judgment against her for judging from her feelings instead of, judging from thus said the Most High, right? So she had to endure that punishment. She had to go through that. Let's go to 2 Samuel 6 and verse 2.
It's the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 6 and verse 2. And David arose and went with him from Baal of Judah to bring up from thence the ark of God, whose name is called by the name of the Lord of hosts, that dwelleth between the cherubims. And they set the ark of God upon a new cart and brought it out of the house of Abinadab,
Yeah.
that was in Gibeah, and Azza and Ahio, the sons of Abinadab, drove the new cart.
So this is David. He's taken they had captured the Ark of the Covenant back, and now they're taking it back with them, right? Go ahead and read.
And they brought it out of the house of Abinadab, which was of Gibeah, accompanying the ark of God. And Ahio went before the ark.
Read.
And David and all the house of Israel played before the Lord on all manner of instruments made of fir wood, even on harps and on psalteries and on timbrels and on cornets and cymbals.
So they're celebrating, right? They're having a joyous time, heading back to their land. Read.
And when they came to Nachon's threshing floor, Uzziah put forth his hand to the ark of God and took hold of it, for the oxen shook it.
So the as they're marching along, right? The ark starts to shift as the oxen are moving, and appears like it's going to fall, right? Read.
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah, and God smote him there for his error, and there he died by the ark of God.
Because it was commanded that there are only certain people out of Israel that were allowed to touch the ark, right? And he wasn't one of them, right? Excuse me, bear with me. So this is how serious it is to follow God's law, statutes, and commandments, right? Uzziah, I believe that's how you say it, was trying to do right? He was trying to catch the ark from falling, right? But in doing so, he went against what the Most High had commanded. And the Most High punished him for that. Read.
And David was displeased because the Lord had made a breach upon Uzzah, and he called the name of the place Perez Uzzah to this day. And David was afraid of the Lord that day and said, how shall the ark of the Lord come to me?
So the Most High smote and killed Uzzah for disobeying the Most High, even though he was trying to do good, right? That's how important it is to obey our Father, our God. That's how important it is to obey the Most High, right?
The Most High ain't playing.
He's not playing around, right? So you gotta,
man, it's almost instinctual.
Right. Yeah. Like that's like I'm glad you said that, right? Because that's how locked in you have to be, right? You have to be able to override that instinct, override that feeling, right? And you got to kill that flesh. You got to die daily, right? So that you are able to obey the Most High. Yeah, and when David saw that, he was upset. He was like, "Yo," he was trying to catch the ark from falling, but he understood even more now how much more it is important to obey the Most High, right? So there is nothing more important than obeying the Most High God. So we got to make sure that we check our spirit. We got to make sure that we check our feelings. We got to make sure that we are patient, long suffering. We got to make sure that we are fit to judge righteously. And if we're not, we got to be honest with ourselves, right? And we got to understand where we are in this walk and walk accordingly. If you don't have if you don't have the fortitude, if you don't have the ability, right, the emotional maturity to judge matters in righteousness, and you're still judging matters out of your feelings, you got to recognize that. You got to take a step back, and you got to say, look, I'm not fit yet. I need to work on myself, and I need to build myself up, before I can start, judging others' actions. Right? I got to make sure that I'm walking blamelessly, so that I am fit to judge matters in righteousness. Because as we can see, the Most High ain't playing. You will be punished. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but know for sure that the Most High he will exact his punishment on you, right? So let's make sure that we're building up our spirit. Let's make sure that we're killing off our flesh, our fleshly desires. Make sure that we're checking our attitudes. Make sure that we are pursuing and exhibiting the fruits of the Spirit, so that the Most High will not turn away from us, and so that we can get this kingdom, right? That's all I have, Israel. I appreciate you for tuning in tonight. We have classes almost every night, so definitely tune in. Share the classes, like the classes, follow us, check out our website. There's a lot of information on there. If you need some more understanding, or you need some more spiritual meat, if you're in the area, you want to come through, feel free to do that as well. Appreciate you. Be blessed, Israel. If you don't have anything,
I could just second what you said, man. Just stay humble and keep that fear and trembling of the Most High, because He's not playing no games.
that's right. That's right. And with that, we say Kwam Yasharahla.